may not study computer science, but in our line of work we have a reliance on using the things that we call computers, so let's look at how they work. Let's do this. Computers contain a handful of stuff: memory, CPU, GPU, a bus, inputs, outputs, a power supply. Here is a little about how they work. Try to focus on getting the general idea. It'll help with coding, but less with media. You might not care how computers tick as a developer. It's kinda slick to have some knowledge, a bit of insight to keep code running fast and tight. So let's talk a bit about computer memory. Imagine a series of numbered boxes, and the boxes contain a single value so we can store and access any values we want to. The boxes themselves are a series of switches. In technical terms, we call these bits, and this is used to represent a binary number. Now let's move on to CPUs, yeah? Central processing units are complex, but let's look at what they do, not the tech specs. Essentially, they run simple commands such as adding and branching. The best way to understand is to check these instructions, known as assembly, so look that up, it'll help you see. You might not care how computers tick as a developer. It's kinda slick to have some knowledge, a bit of insight to keep code running fast and tight. The bus is the thing that moves our data, copying from memory to CPU and back. There are several ways that this gets done. Some ways are faster than others by a ton. Now let's take a look at the GPU. It's the graphics card, but it does other things too. It's basically lots of simple processors running at the same time. We call them cores. These cores share program counter components, so branching is slow, but it's good for lighting calculations. It's also used for vertex transformation, but sometimes we use it for other applications. Those are the complex bits discussed, but there's a few more things that make up the guts. Input device, the keyboard and mouse, stores values in memory read by the bus. Sound card renders our audio signal, usually made up of digital values. These values represent speaker movements that wobble the air and make sound wave vibrations. The monitor hooks to the GPU outputs where memory maps directly to pixels. Finally, there's a power supply and a case and a network adapter. You might not care how computers tick, but if you're a dev, it's kinda slick to have some knowledge, a bit of insight to keep code running fast and tight.